Welcome to my kitchen, everybody. Thank you so much for taking the time today to watch my new channel, hobby, whatever you want to call it. So let's start off with a little bit about me. My name is Danny. I am a powerlifting coach and a powerlifter myself who works out of Calgary Barbell here in Calgary. I also work one-on-one with people on their just general lifestyle and nutrition habits. And a big part of working with people on nutrition habits is finding balance. So to me, balance does not mean completely restricting yourself of your favorite foods and your favorite takeout options. To me, balance is finding middle ground for all of those things. So that might mean having one night a week where you dedicate it to your favorite takeout night, or one of my personal favorites is recreating your favorite takeout item at home. And so that's what I'm doing today. Today, I am recreating the Nashville hot chicken sandwich, which I love from Earl's Happy Hour menu. So I personally find a lot of joy in cooking and creating things that taste like they shouldn't be healthy. So I'm hoping in watching my process, you can find some inspiration for yours. Let's get started.
Almond milk.
Huh? What now? Is there anything else to eat?
We have some bread.
Is this cheating? Are people going to call me out for cheating?
You know, just drinking wax out of this sex candle and then eating the bomb chicken wing.
Sean, you're making it sound weird when you say it like that.
The lime, does that work?
All right, everyone, here are the ingredients you're going to need today to get started. So to start off this recipe, we're going to be making buttermilk. You're going to need 1 cup of milk and 1 tablespoon of fresh squeezed lemon. All right, once that's complete, you're going to grab a fillet knife and you are going to debone some chicken. So I had to use bone-in chicken today because, well, we're in a pandemic and we have limited options. You're going to start by removing the skin, which you can actually save and make a really nice chicken skin in the air fryer later if you'd like. Then we're going to trim the fat to our liking. Once we're done trimming the fat, we're going to flip this guy over and we are going to trim along each side of the bone and then down the bone, removing as little meat as possible. Once we're done with that, we're going to pat the meat dry and then salt it so that it is ready coated when we get to that step. Always salt your meat, folks. So the next step here is to start making the dredge that you're going to coat the chicken in. So this is a pretty basic recipe. All you're going to need is salt, garlic powder, pepper, and flour. You're going to add all this to a bowl so that everything is seasoned evenly. Then we're going to get started on the egg mixture. So what you're going to need is that cup of buttermilk that we started, 2 eggs, and then 2 tablespoons of your favorite hot sauce. So today I am using the Scotch Bonnet hot sauce that I buy at Mucho Burrito. It does pack quite a bit of heat, but it has this nice, sweet, tangy flavor to it that makes me really love it on everything. So I could have sped up this process by taking off the stopper, but the thought of drowning my eggs in half a bottle of hot sauce tomorrow really wasn't appealing, and I know that would happen. So instead, I chose to get an arm pump from shaking hot sauce out of the bottle. You're going to whisk all those ingredients up real good. And then we're basically ready to get started on the cooking process. So to start coating the chicken, you're going to take the flour dredge that we made and the egg mixture. So one basic rule when coating something is to always have a wet and a dry hand. I was not able to do this while I was recording, but it'll work a lot better for you if you have one hand for wet ingredients, one hand for dry. You're going to start for the ones that we'll be frying today by coating them in flour, shaking off the excess, and then adding to the egg mixture and then back into the flour. So once those guys are done, you're just going to set them aside until you finished all of them. And then I'm going to be also creating a slightly different recipe for the air fryer. So if you have an air fryer, definitely try this. It's a little bit more macro friendly, actually a lot more macro friendly. So what you're going to do differently is instead of that last hit of flour, you're going to coat it in panko instead. So you'll go flour, shake off the excess, then the egg mixture, and then into the panko. So you want to make sure that you're adding the garlic powder, the black pepper, and a little bit of salt to the panko as well, so that you're still getting an evenly seasoned and flavorful piece of chicken in the end. So then we're going to place these pieces into the air fryer. So what we're going to do is we're going to cook these for 10 minutes at 400 degrees Fahrenheit in the air fryer. Then we'll check them, flip them over, baste them in the oil mix that we're going to be getting here, and probably set them in for another 6 minutes. So if you don't know, I absolutely love the air fryer. It's a kitchen appliance that cooks by circulating hot air around the food using the convection mechanism. So ultimately, you can control the amount of fats that you're using in this recipe to fry. So next up, we'll be frying the rest of the chicken in a pan. I'm using coconut oil today because it has the highest smoke point of all the oils that I currently have access to. So you're going to let the oil come to temperature. You want about 350 to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. You can test this using a drop of water or a drop of flour and seeing if it sizzles or burns. You don't want it to burn. That means it's too high. You'll also see it smoke. So we're going to add the chicken in and let it cook for 5 to 7 minutes on each side. Today I'm pairing this delicious chicken with the Star Creek IPA from Toolshed. So I love this IPA. It's super creamy and it has such a nice, well-balanced amount of hops. Not so much so that it doesn't just like punch you in the face. All right, next up, we have what absolutely makes this dish. So we're going to be using hot chili powder, brown sugar, and sriracha flakes. We're going to mix those into a bowl. And what we're going to do is we're going to take oil from the pan that we were frying in. We're going to mix it into the seasoning, and then we're going to baste all of the chicken that we made today in this coating. So what I really like about using the air fryer for this recipe is the fact that you can control how much oil you're putting on the chicken rather than guessing how much oil the chicken is absorbing from the frying process in the pan. So once we're done basting here, we're going to toss all of the chicken in the oven with this oil coating for 5 minutes at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. This is just going to give you that little bit of extra flavor and crisp, and it's going to be phenomenal. And whenever you're cooking chicken, I really suggest using a meat thermometer for ultimate tenderness. Every good sandwich or burger needs a properly toasted bun, so you're going to toast the inside only in the oil that you used as well. Then we're going to start making the slaw with mayo, Dijon mustard, and a little bit of lemon, and a slaw mix. So I'm not going to tell you how much of these to add. I used about 2 tablespoons of mayo, a tablespoon of Dijon, and then squeezed half a lemon. But however creamy you want your coleslaw, that is totally up to you. Then we're going to slice up some pickles. The juice is missing because I was working out earlier. Looks weird. Don't use a knife like I am in this video, and definitely don't use a steak knife like I am either. So what really got me fired up about the way this recipe turned out is the fact that the air fryer and the deep fried version both look the same. So you still got that crispy coating from the panko. The oil really brought together the dish in both pieces. I would say you cannot skip that step. So now let's make some sandies. You're gonna add a little bit of extra mayo. Then we'll add our pickles on the other side. And then you're gonna add as much slaw as your heart desires. So now we are basically ready to eat these sandies. So if this is what Nashville is famous for, I need to go to Nashville because this is one of the best sandwiches I have ever tried. And with any good sandwich, you always deserve a cross-section shot, am I right? So again, today I decided to pair this epic meal with the Star Creek IPA from Toolshed here in Calgary, and it was a fabulous choice. So I decided to do a blind taste test with my roommate just to see which one was best. So this one is the air fryer one, and this one is the deep fried.
You said I'm not going to be in it anyway, right?
Yep. So you can have this one.
Which one? This one? I'm just going to close my eyes. You can trust my eyes closed. Alright.
Now try the other one when you have the cleanse. Do you want a clean palate? Do you want a sip of beer? That one's best? That's an air fried one.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's crispier.
So the air fryer one is actually the chosen winner, which is super cool. So I'm hoping that this recipe inspires reviews similar to Brando's here. And I would just like to thank everybody for coming out today and watching this video. I hope it provides some inspiration to try and spice up the food that you've been making and enjoy a beer while doing so. Cheers.